Ever wonder where those in the beginning stories come from?
Oh, absolutely. Those are the stories that really capture the imagination.
Well, get ready to dive into one of the oldest ones. We've got the Enuma Elish.
The Babylonian creation myth.
Yeah. And we're talking seriously ancient stuff here.
Older than old. When I say old, I mean we're talking clay tablets, folks.
Not even scrolls, clay tablets unearthed just over a century ago.
A late bloomer, you could say.
Talk about a late arrival to the party, right?
Hey.
So instead of trying to decipher these ancient tablets ourselves,
Good luck with that.
yeah, seriously, we're lucky enough to have Leonard William King's book as our guide.
The Seven Tablets of Creation, a classic.
Basically, he did the impossible back in 1902, piecing together these fragments like some kind of ancient jigsaw puzzle.
Cosmic jigsaw puzzle is more like it. King had his work cut out for him, let me tell you.
I bet. Deciphering damaged tablets, filling in gaps, challenging all those old ideas about Babylonian mythology.
It was groundbreaking stuff.
Okay, so before we get lost in translation, what's the Enuma Elish all about? Paint us a picture.
Well, first you got to ditch the image of a void or nothingness at the start.
Okay, so no empty stage.
No. Think of more like a swirling, chaotic soup. This is primordial soup we're talking about.
So not the kind you'd get at a restaurant.
Definitely not. This is where gods emerge from, not carrots and noodle.
Okay, a cosmic mosh pit of gods. Who are the main players in this watery free-for-all?
All right, so first out of the gate, you've got Apsu,
Mr. Freshwater himself,
the one and only. And then there's Tiamat.
representing the salty side of things.
Oh, she's more than just salty. She is the raging primordial ocean, a force of nature.
I'm getting some serious don't mess with me vibes from her already.
You'd be right. And don't forget Mummu.
Mummu. Who's that?
He's a real piece of work. Think of him as Apsu's advisor, whispering chaos into his ear.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster. So in this primordial power struggle, who are the first gods to, actually be born?
See, that's where things get interesting. And this is where King's research really shines. It's not Marduk.
Wait, really? I thought he was like the Babylonian god.
He is, or at least he becomes that. But the Enuma Elish shakes things up right off the bat.
Oh, okay. So if it's not Marduk, who is it?
First up, you've got Anshar and Kishar. Then Anu makes an entrance, and
Then, don't leave me hanging.
Then comes Ela. And this, my friend, is a big deal.
Okay, I can sense that this is important. Why is Ea showing up so early such a big deal?
Before King pieced all these broken tablets together, everybody thought Marduk was the top dog, the firstborn, the head honcho of creation. But this birth order, this throws a wrench in that whole theory.
So Marduk isn't the all-powerful creator we might expect.
Not at the start, no, sir. And that changes everything. King was adamant that this wasn't just a random choice by whoever wrote this stuff down. The order matters. And Ea showing up early on, it's a sign that he's more important than folks realized.
This is fascinating. Okay, so we've got our primordial power couple, Apsu and Tiamat, with their agent of chaos, Mummu. Then along come these new gods, including Ea, who's looking more and more important. Where does it go from there?
Well, this new generation of gods, they like to party. And Apsu and Mummu, they are not about that life.
A cosmic noise complaint waiting to happen.
More than a noise complaint. It's a fundamental clash of order and chaos. Apsu and Mummu enjoyed their peace and quiet, but these new gods, they're shaking things up.
Sounds like my kind of party. But not so much for Apsu and Mummu.
Not at all. They decide it's time to take out the trash.
Wait, they're planning to wipe out this new generation of gods?
Yep. Annihilation is on the menu.
Talk about party poopers. But they didn't count on Ea, did they?
Ea was ready. He's not just powerful, he's smart. He gets wind of their little scheme, and what does he do? He takes them down.
No way. He defeats Apsu and Mummu.
Gone. Which, you can imagine, doesn't sit too well with Tiamat.
Especially losing Apsu like that.
Oh, she is not happy. We're talking fury on a cosmic scale.
Godzilla's got nothing on her.
Oh, this is way worse than Godzilla. This is the wrath of a scorned primordial goddess.
So Tiamat's out for revenge. But what can you do when you're a primordial goddess seeking revenge? I mean, it's not like she can just order a hit on the rest of the gods.
Oh, but that's where you'd be wrong. And this is where King's work gets really wild. Tiamat doesn't just order a hit.
She takes matters into her own hands.
Oh, yeah. She's going DIY on this revenge plot. And let me tell you, this is where it gets really interesting.
DIY revenge, primordial goddess style. I'm all ears.
Okay, so picture this. Tiamat, heartbroken, furious, she decides to create an army.
An army? Of what exactly? Primordial sea monsters.
Oh, you're getting warmer. We're talking creatures so bizarre, so terrifying, they'd make your worst nightmares look like bedtime stories.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Give me the rundown. What kind of nightmarish beasts are we talking about here?
We're talking about vipers, but not just any vipers. These guys, their venom could melt mountains. And then there are the dragons.
Dragons, like fire-breathing, fly-you-to-the-moon dragons.
Oh, you better believe it. Fire-breathing, fury-unleashed dragons. But she doesn't stop there. We've also got scorpion men.
Scorpion men. Now, that's just showing off. Tiamat's got a real creative streak, I'll give her that. But an army needs a general, right? Who's leading this ragtag bunch of monsters?
Well, that's where Kingu comes in. And this is not just some random appointment. Tiamat elevates Kingu not just as her general, but as her spouse as well.
Whoa, talk about a power couple. It seems like Tiamat's really pulling out all the stops.
Yeah.
But how does Marduk, everyone's favorite Babylonian god, how does he finally enter the picture?
Ah, Marduk. Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And this is where King's work goes beyond just the Enuma Elish. He pulls in all these other Babylonian texts, fragments of different creation stories. He even compares them to Hebrew traditions to try to piece it all together.
Wow, talk about a deep dive. So what did he find?
He found that Marduk, unlike these primordial forces like Tiamat and Apsu, doesn't start with absolute power.
Really? I always thought he was the top dog, the big cheese, the head honcho of the Babylonian gods.
Oh, he gets there, but not right away. See, the other gods, they're freaking out. I mean, can you blame them?
Giant monsters, angry primordial goddess. Sounds like a Tuesday.
Right. So they get together and they literally have a divine election.
Right, they vote. Like the cosmic ballot box. Who gets to be the supreme god?
You got it. It's a popularity contest, primordial god style, and guess who wins?
Marduk, I'm guessing.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Marduk gets the divine nomination to face off against Tiamat. But, and this is important, it's not just a win for him. King points out that this is a massive shift in Babylonian mythology. We're moving away from those old chaotic powers like Tiamat and Apsu, and we're entering a new era.
An era of order.
Precisely.
So Marduk's rise to power is kind of a big deal. But what about the battle?
Oh, the battle. Are you ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Just picture the most epic showdown the cosmos has ever seen. Marduk, armed with the power of all the gods, goes head-to-head with Tiamat and her monstrous crew. It's a clash of the titans. It's a cosmic hurricane of divine fury.
Okay, I'm officially on the edge of my seat. Who wins?
Well, spoiler alert, but Marduk comes out on top. He uses his cunning, the power of the gods, and some seriously impressive fighting skills. And finally, Tiamat is defeated.
Yes. Take that, Tiamat.
Yeah.
But what happens next? Does Marduk lock her up?
Yeah.
Banish her to some cosmic dungeon?
That's the thing. He does something totally unexpected. Instead of just getting rid of Tiamat, Marduk decides to get creative.
Creative? How do you get creative with a dead primordial goddess?
Well, Marduk, he's not just a warrior, he's an artist. He takes Tiamat's body and he uses it to create the world.
You what?
Yeah, he takes her massive defeated form and he uses it to shape the entire world. We're talking a whole new meaning from dust to dust.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We've gone from this cosmic free-for-all, with gods popping up left and right, to this epic battle royale. And the grand finale. Marduk is using the ultimate recycling project, turning a defeated goddess into the entire world.
It's pretty metal when you think about it.
It's definitely not your grandma's creation story.
Yeah.
But beyond the wow factor, what's the takeaway here? What were the Babylonians trying to tell us?
You've hit on something really important, and it's something that King picks up on in his work. The Enuma Elish isn't just a cool story, It's a window into how the Babylonians saw the world, their whole worldview.
Okay, so it's about more than just monsters and gods.
Oh, absolutely. It's about the transition from chaos to order. But, and this is key, it's also about the violence at the heart of that transition.
Okay, I can see that. But we're not living in ancient Babylonia, right? We're not building temples to Marduk or anything. How does this ancient story connect to us today?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it all boils down to power. Marduk's victory, the whole creation of the world from Tiamat's body. It's all about justifying his rule. It's like the Babylonians were saying, look, he conquered chaos. He literally made the world. Who are we to question him?
So it's like ancient propaganda, a way to make sure everyone's cool with Marduk being in charge.
You could say that. And it makes you wonder, what stories do we tell ourselves today that do the same thing?
That's a pretty deep thought. I mean, we're surrounded by stories, right?
Yeah.
But I never really thought about how some of them might be doing the same kind of work as the Enuma Elish.
It's all about looking beneath the surface. And that's what makes diving deep into these ancient texts so fascinating. They don't just tell us about the past, they make us question the present.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the Enuma Elish. We've journeyed through primordial chaos, faced down some truly terrifying monsters, and witnessed the birth of the world, Babylonian style.
What a ride.
Big thanks to Leonard William King for being our guide to this ancient epic. And to you, dear listener, we leave you with this. What myths do you live by? Until next time, keep exploring.